Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book on tape to play for you. Today's book is Ducktales, Dinosaur Ducks for 1987. So let's get started.
This is the story of dinosaur ducks. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this. Let's begin now. Launchpad McQuack crept through a misty forest, then stopped suddenly. He was staring at a strange creature with a big beak and bright feathers, the rare booby bird he'd been searching for. But the minute he pounced on it, he heard giant footsteps thundering behind him. He ran, clutching his trophy.
Cool it, booby birdie. I'm doing you a favor taking you to Scrooge's zoo. It's a jungle out here.
He looked over his shoulder. A huge lizard was chasing them. Launchpad scrambled up a hill and found himself hurtling through space. He had stepped off the edge of a cliff. The booby bird flapped its wings furiously, slowing their fall. When they crashed to earth, the priceless bird struggled out of his arms. Launchpad watched it fly away.
How am I going to explain this to Mr. McDuck?
When Launchpad made it back to Duckburg, he found his boss, Scrooge McDuck, in the zoo office.
Launchpad, you lost the booby bird because a lizard was chasing you?
Not any old lizard, Mr. McD. A King Kong-sized lizard.
Yahoo! Launchpad, you found a lost world that explorers have dreamed of for centuries. You discovered dinosaurs, the greatest zoo attraction ever.
The next day, Scrooge's nephews and their friend Webbigale watched Launchpad load a fancy helicopter. As Scrooge supervised, Huey turned to Dewey and Louie.
Our chance to see real dinosaurs, and we're stuck here. Why don't we stow away?
When Webby started to follow, Louie stopped her.
Sorry, but the lost world is much too dangerous for a girl.
The boys ran to hide in an empty crate. Webby smiled.
I can be sneaky too.
Launchpad checked the controls, then he and Scrooge took off. After a while, Launchpad looked up from his maps.
We must be over the lost world, Mr. McD, because we're lost.
When Scrooge looked outside, he saw a giant dinosaur bird swooping down on them.
A pterodactyl! We're under attack!
I'll get him, sir. I can just figure out this panel.
Every time Launchpad pushed a button, sparks jumped out.
It's not working, Mr. McD. Prepare to crash.
Scrooge burrowed among the supplies, searching for crash helmets. Instead, he found his three nephews.
Mommy, bagpipes! What are you doing here?
Huey felt the chopper shake and sputter.
Looks like we crash landed with you.
Scrooge strapped the boys into the remaining passenger seat. Then Launchpad closed his eyes and pushed another button. A door slid back, and the boys were ejected from the chopper. Seconds later, a parachute popped open, and the nephews floated safely to the jungle below. As they set out to search for their uncle and Launchpad, Louie noticed something strange.
You guys, can three ducks have four shadows?
As his brothers shook their heads, Louis motioned for them to turn around.
Then I think we have company.
They stared at an enormous animal with thick legs and a duck-like face. Its huge eyes bulged out at them. The nephews took one look and raced in the other direction. Meanwhile, Launchpad was hopping out of the chopper in a valley miles away.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give that crash an 8.
Scrooge straightened his hat and glared at Launchpad.
Just get me up on that plateau before anything happens to my nephews.
No problem, Mr. McD. Next to flying, mountain climbing is my best help.
Launchpad dug through the supplies and found his gear. He put on a rope harness and tied the other end around Scrooge's waist.
Don't worry. I'll use my professional mountain climbing equipment, and we'll be up on top in no time.
He handed Scrooge a large picnic basket, and they began scaling the cliff face. Near the top, Launchpad hit his finger with a hammer.
Ouch!
When he dropped the hammer, he lost his balance, and they both tumbled down the cliff. The rope jerked them to a stop. While dangling upside down, Scrooge glared at Launchpad.
You were right. You're nearly as good a mountain climber as you are a pilot.
The pair began struggling up the cliff face again. When they finally made it to the top, Launchpad grinned.
See, Mr. McD? I told you I'd get us up here safe and sound.
But as they set off, several sinister figures crept through the underbrush after them. Meanwhile, the boys were hiding behind a rock, waiting for the large beaked creature to return. Louis looked at his brothers.
Wow, that must have been a duck-billed dinosaur. Uncle Scrooge would sure like one of those for his due.
Huey pulled out his junior woodchuck guide.
That gives me an idea.
Huey and his brothers found a large hole and covered it with branches, then hid once again. Louis looked over at him.
Huey, are you sure the Junior Woodchuck's tiger trap will catch a dinosaur? I'm positive. The trap doesn't know the difference.
When they heard a crash, they went to look and found a saber-toothed tiger crawling out of the pit. As they ran, Louis scowled.
Next time, if the book says tiger trap, it means tiger trap.
After they escaped from the tiger, the boys set another trap. Louis tied the end of a long vine into a noose.
When that dinosaur shows up to eat the food we set out, all we have to do is pull out the vine and we'll have him on a leash.
Soon they heard something approaching, and Louis jerked the vine. When Huey ran to check the trap, he found a giant creature with a long tail towering over him.
It's the most ferocious dinosaur of all, a Tyrannosaurus.
The boys fled through a gap in a nearby cliff. Louis halted.
It's a dead-end ravine. We're trapped.
Huey grabbed a stick the size of a baseball bat.
Pitch me some rocks. I'll knock this guy out of the park.
When the Tyrannosaurus appeared, Louis and Dewey pitched large rocks to Huey. He hit them right at the giant lizard, distracting it long enough for them to slip out of the ravine. Not too far away, Launchpad and Scrooge were searching for the boys. Launchpad bumped into a hairy figure standing on two legs.
Cavemen. Cave ducks. We're surrounded.
Launchpad held up his arms while Scrooge tried to keep the leader from stealing his top hat.
Keep your hairy hands off me. Catch the kilts. We'll have to go with them.
The cave ducks grunted and marched them off. The boys, meanwhile, had another scheme to catch the duck-billed dinosaur. They hung a net over a clearing, then hid in a nearby cave. Sure enough, the duck-billed creature appeared a short time later. Just as Huey was about to spring the trap, he saw a tiny figure toddle into the clearing.
It's Webbigale. Webby, get back. That dinosaur will hurt you.
When the creature lowered its head toward Webby, she hugged it.
He's no beast. He's a nice dinosaur.
She patted him on the nose, and he wagged his tail like a puppy. Louis grinned.
Yeah, and a nice exhibit for the zoo. Zoo!
Webby hugged the dinosaur tighter. Huey turned to his brothers.
I guess she's right. So much for that idea.
Louie took down the net.
Webby, how did you get to the lost world? Are you alone? I hid in Launchpad's lunch basket. We better find him and Uncle Scrooge. They may be in trouble.
They scouted around and discovered the cave ducks' camp. Huey saw Scrooge and Launchpad tied to a tree.
Uh-oh. Poor Uncle Scrooge. We gotta do something.
Louie's face lit up.
Webby, we can use your dinosaur.
Louie and his brothers jumped on the dinosaur's back.
Okay, Webby, tell him to charge through the middle of the camp.
At Webby's signal, the baby dinosaur galloped into the clearing. The cave ducks scattered, and Huey jumped down to untie Scrooge and Launchpad. As he did, there was a crashing sound, and the ground shook. Huey looked up.
Everybody run! It's the Tyrannosaurus!
They followed the cave ducks into a nearby cave filled with large stones, but Louie noticed a problem.
The baby dinosaur! He's too big to fit inside!
The Tyrannosaurus was bearing down on the smaller creature when suddenly there was a roar. It was another duck-billed dinosaur. Larger than the baby, it was still dwarfed by the Tyrannosaurus. Webby jumped up.
That must be his mother! I thought she'd be looking for him, but she won't last long against that monster!
Launchpad looked at Scrooge.
You may not believe this, but I have a brilliant idea.
He ran over to the stones piled in the cave. When he rolled one at the Tyrannosaurus, it bounced on the dinosaur's foot, almost tripping. Seeing this, the cave ducks gathered dozens of stones and began rolling them at the beast. Bombarded by rocks, the dinosaur gave a mighty bellow and limped away. Everyone cheered, and Scrooge hugged Webby.
Darling, it's a surprise to see you here.
Are you mad, Uncle Scrooge?
No, lassie. You found me a good specimen from a zoo.
Webby looked pleadingly at the nephews, and Louie put his arm around her.
Uncle Scrooge, do you really want to separate those two?
He pointed, and they all looked over at the young dinosaur nuzzling its mother. Scrooge turned to Webby.
You and my nephews are right. It's not proper to split up close kin. I'm happy to see the wee dinosaur find its mother.
Launchpad looked at his boss.
Well, Mr. McD, I guess it's back to Duckburg without a dinosaur.
Not exactly, Launchpad. I still have plans for them.
A few weeks later, a huge helicopter filled with people flew low over the lost world. Scrooge spoke to the group, which included Webby and his nephews.
And on our left is the rare duck-billed dinosaur. We're especially fortunate to see one with a wee child.
Launchpad grinned from the cockpit.
Gotta hand it to you, Mr. McD. You came up with the winner this time.
Scrooge nodded happily.
I figured if I couldn't bring dinosaurs to Duckburg, I'd bring Duckburg to the dinosaurs.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. Ducktales, woo. Every day they're out
rainbow.
So that was Ducktales, Dinosaur Ducks for 1987. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, have a groovy day. Well, another video coming out real soon. And our next book will be The Rocketeer.